There's a lot to a mobile suit, from its design, its specs, the raw numbers, and how it was in action. The list goes on, but to many, some are more important than others. One that must be addressed is its arsenal. For what is a mobile suit without its weapons? For many, they're just as iconic as the machine itself, and there are many things to them. Its type, its purpose, to what it fires, but more importantly, how cool it is. So welcome to Armory Aesthetic, where we appreciate the beauty of a mobile suit's loadout. Today for episode 1, let's highlight the MS-18E Kämpfer, developed by Zeon for the 1-year war, being a heavy assault mobile suit. By itself, its goal is to deliver a high amount of damage in a short amount of time, a single but fatal strike. Everything about the Kämpfer supports this, even down to its name. Kämpfer translates from German to fighter, and the E in MS-18, some will say experimental, but some speculate it's the German word Einhauen, which kinda translates to cave in or smash in. Anywho, the Kämpfer's design focuses on speed, giving it little armor to lower its weight, and large thrusters covering its entire body. This allows the Kämpfer to achieve an insane high speed of 215 kilometers an hour, or about 133.6 miles per hour, compared to the Gundam's max speed, clocking it at 165 kilometers an hour, or about 105.5 miles per hour. It can even achieve lift with its thrusters, allowing it to get real low and hover. But all this does come with the downside of thin armor. How thin? Well, the Kämpfer's empty weight is 43.5 tons, and his head height is 17.7 meters. The Zaku 2 is 17.5 meters tall and 58.1 metric tons empty. Even the Gundam, which is made out of a lighter material, lunar titanium, and similar size of 18 meters, is 43.4 metric tons empty. So his armor is real thin. But it all comes back to high speed, first strike mentality, hit them hard before they can hit you, Blitzkrieg or
Erstschlag.
But for the modern folk, don't get hit, and if you do, skill issue. But speed is nothing if you can't do anything with it. And here comes the real meat of the video, the Kämpfer's arsenal, which makes good use of the Kämpfer's hardpoints and space to fit as much weapons on him at once. For internals, we have 60mm head Vulcans, a standard armament found and copied from the Federation mobile suits, and new to Zeon. They're low caliber, high rate of fire, made for lightly armored targets, lightly armored areas, missiles, rockets, vehicles, or infantry. Next for melee, inside each thigh is a beam saber. But now to what it carries. For primary, we have the Jagdgewehr 192mm shotgun. This thing is beautiful. No matter what, or ridiculous it seems, a mech-sized shotgun beauty transcends words. It's truly just the pinnacle of the rule of cool. But if one isn't enough for you, the Kämpfer carries an additional on its back skirt, cause why spend time reloading when that time can be spent shooting? For its next primary, cause he has two, we have the Giant Bazooka, a standard armament for Zeon, shooting large explosives that can easily take out a mobile suit in a single shot. The Kämpfer's rocking two of them, stored in the backpack for quick access. While great for taking out mobile suits, two bazookas will cause serious damage to about anything, fitting the vibe of striking fast and hard. And while you can carry ammo, like the shotguns, who wants to waste time reloading? Onto his legs, each carries one Stormfrost, single shot large rockets, and without any guidance device, you're gonna have to aim well. While he already has explosives, more is always appreciated. And don't worry, there's always something that needs to be blown up, so they won't go to waste, or spend too much time on him. But we're still not done yet, for we have the Kämpfer's most iconic weapon, the chain mine. Regular mines with a magnetic claw on the bottom. They can be used for various purposes that see fit. Defensive, offensive, utility, they're still regular mines. But in this case, we have multiple connected to a flexible wire and used like a whip, sticking to the enemy either from a swing or throw. Once on, the magnets will activate, sticking to its target, then followed by multiple detonations, causing an absurd amount of damage. Very few things will still be there after this goes off. A ridiculous weapon that fits the Kämpfer perfectly. It's absurd, it's deadly, it's creative, and most importantly, it's cool. A full loadout consisting of a dumb amount of explosives, shotguns, plus Vulcans and beam sabers. With this, the Kämpfer will have no problem wreaking havoc, and even with all this stuff, you would think it would weigh it down, which you're right. On empty, the Kämpfer is 43.5 metric tons, and decked out in max is 78.5. While there are other things that could contribute this, you know that extra 35 tons is mostly just weapons. Despite that, it can still reach high speeds and easily maneuver around. This kit is also flexible. While some are more practical and may be better in some situations, he can use any standard Zeon weapon. If you really want to use a heat melee, go ahead. He has access to all the machine guns, double or single-handed, so you can dual wield. Then there's the launchers like the simplified rocket launcher. Then if you're real spicy, you can use the anti-ship rifle. The list goes on, and it's only limited by your creativity and definitely the budget. For some more shown examples, the Kämpfer in Char's Deleted Affairs used a large beam rifle that had its own generator to power it, so even a zaku could use it. But it also can use regular beam rifles, like shown with the zaku F-type, which we know next to nothing about except it uses a beam rifle. But due to it putting strain on the generator, it will affect your overall speed and thruster capabilities. That wraps up the base Kämpfer, but let's go through its family tree and see if anything changes. To the prior version, the prototype Kämpfer, which looks good in green and I love that extra armor, it has the same things I've already mentioned, but also the large heavy machine gun, a really big gun with a bipod. Neat. Combined with its speed, you can find a nice location, unleash hell, then dip. For something more colorful, we have Gundam Code Fairy, the DLC story for Battle Operation 2, that I feel like some people just forget exists. Here we have the MS-18 NF Noisy Fairy Titania, a Kämpfer variant made more for commander use, more armor and extra thrusters, with mostly the same shit that I've mentioned, but now built-in armed machine guns, giving us some extra integrated weapons. The Titania is also shown to use a sawed-off shotgun, and before you think it, no one at Zeon made this with a comically large saw. It just means it has a shorter barrel. The name Sawed Off just goes hard. Then it has a beam machine gun, similar in look to the ones found in the Gelgu Jaeger. For whatever reason, curiosity or insanity, you want your Kämpfer to go even faster, we have the High Mobility Kämpfer. It has a similar kit with the beam machine gun like the prior, but the new and improved chain mines. They're still the same thing, but a different shape. They're rods now, making it easier to store folding in on itself, and each side is magnetic, so it has an easier time latching onto targets. Next, we're jumping real far ahead, from UC-79 to UC-116, to look at the manga Gundam F90 Fastest Formula. Here we have the RF Kämpfer. While looking like a Kämpfer, it's only for the aesthetic. It's more in line with the RF Zaku, which isn't a Zaku, it's only for the aesthetic. It's more in line with the Gyaradoga. Anywho, we see familiar weapons, but now we have a 3-tube rocket launcher on the right forearm, triple heat wire on the left forearm, which are 3 electrically charged wires like the Goof Customs that can be deployed to ensnare and stop the enemy. But for the most interesting thing is the Incom Quasi-Psycom wire guided weapons, 4 in total, 2 on each rack. They deploy out and shoot in unorthodox angles. This would mark the ends, but it is surprising that the Kämpfer appeared this many times in this many variations. Let's not try to get too off topic here, for we could say many other things are Kämpfer-like. But there's one thing we have to mention, so let's jump into Gundam Build Fighters, showing one of many Meijin Kawaguchi's beautiful, or should I say amazing, gunpla. Introducing the PPMS 18E Kampfer Amazing, which has one hell of an arsenal. First equipped with amazing weapon binders, storage containers that help carry all the shit, and gives it extra thrusters to help offset the weight. But in no particular order, we have the Amazing Knife, a pair of close combat melees that can be thrown and are stored in the waist. The Heat Plate, superheated fins on its arms and legs, 2 beam sabers on each thigh, and it's also shown to use 2 tonfas. But now for range, the real star of the shows. Next we have the 2 amazing pistols, stored in the binders, the high rate of fire beam pistols, but have barrel attachments changing them. With a long barrel, it becomes the Amazing Rifle, a simple, strong beam rifle. When equipped with an even longer barrel, it becomes the amazing long rifle for sniping. Next we have the two amazing machine guns, single-handed beam guns with high rate of fire. But if you're looking for something with a little more oomph, we got you covered. We have the amazing minigun, which just looks really cool with the little blades at the end. But if you need something with a little extra boom, we have the 4-cylinder amazing rocket launcher. So yeah, a whole lot to choose from. And it can even deploy with 4 binders to bring as much as possible. Plus, those binders can be released and be used as projectiles, because why not make use out of everything? The Kämpfer is not the first to be decked out. I mean, there are the full armors, and there are plenty with much more toys. But he hits a sweet spot, for there will be plenty that can do what he does, he just does it cooler, looks better doing it. And we see plenty of bulky mechs with a lot of weapons, but the slim, fast, fully loaded mech is something I can just appreciate more. Don't get me wrong, integrated weapons are cool. Having most of your weight be weapons and ammo is awesome, but there's always something unique about carrying an absurd amount on you. Makes you feel like an old school shooter where you can hold 9 weapons somehow for some reason. So while he might inspire other mobile suits, and let's be honest, Bandai will find a way to make more, this ends it here, hopefully. You never know with how much shit there is out there. But till next time, I hope this opens your mind to the simpler things in life, like a school bus sized shotgun. But anywho, hope you enjoyed the first episode of Armory Aesthetic. I promise I won't use this series to talk about amphibians. But Slothcake's here, subscribe, hit the bell, yada yada, bye bye. You can leave now, but thank you for staying this long and I hope to see you next time.